Hey guys, back at the shop. I'm waiting for a driver to pick up that 6.9 that I sold. So I thought I'd do a little bit of tinkering on the 6.3 while I'm here. Um, so I got the new bushing on, the shifter link bushing. What I ended up doing is I took the shift rod off because I was trying to do this in the car and it was just not working. And I thought that, I'm going to make a pig's ear out of it if I keep trying. This bushing is a lot stiffer than the bushing that's in the the 115 part number bushings that are on the other cars. So what I end up doing is I pull the shift rod off. I used a bolt washer on one end and then put a socket on the other, and then used a bench vise to press it all in together. It worked really well. So it went on really easily, no problems. I did use dishwash soap, right? That's the thing to use on rubber components if you try to press them in. It's not corrosive. It doesn't eat at the rubber. So don't use an oil. You just use dish soap, and help basically make it slippery enough that it just slipped in and no problems. So I'm going to go put this on the 6.3, and I'm going to see if it holds. I'm hoping that I got it the right way around, because the ends are tapered, but I think I have. And we'll see where it goes. All right, guys. So give me a few minutes, and I'll go put this on the 6.3, and then. Let's have a look. Alright, so that's one end of the shift rod right there. Can you see that? So looks like I just need to maybe press it in a little bit more. It's not pressed in properly. But on the other side, let me see if I can get this. It's pressed in real nicely on this side. So that one looks good. This one, not so much. So let me see if I can get the. So. There you go. See that? Let me see. Can you see that? Now it's pressed in. So now it's pressed in right. You can see it's pushed in all the way. So I think this is going to hold. So the next thing to do is I've got the speedo cable right here that needs to be connected, and then the parking brake cable also needs to be hooked up. So I'm going to get that taken care of, and then I'm going to lower the car, and I need to figure out something with this high control valve as well, because it's obviously in need of something. So I've got to get that figured out as well. So give me a bit, and I'll get on it and get back to you. Thank you. So hit a little bit of a roadblock. So the height control linkage that I have is for 6.3, and I assumed it's the same as the 6.9 linkage. It's not. It's different. The 6.9 linkage has a like a bushing that basically presses onto a ball end, and the 6.9 has a threaded rod, so it's a little bit different. It's not going to work. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to air up the suspension, I'm going to air up the tires, and then I'm going to see if I can set the height control valve once I've aired up the tires, so that it sits where it needs to sit. Because that's the other key thing, is that if the height control valve isn't sitting in the right place, especially when you don't have a link attached to the sway bar, then it'll always just keep trying to raise itself or lower itself. So you need that. You need to have that setting done. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to see if I can get that done. So if you haven't noticed, the front air suspension usually stays up, but the rear air suspension collapses. That's because the whole front end is from another car. It's from a car that was in really good shape but caught fire. It caught fire at the rear of the car, so pretty much the whole car burnt down except for the engine bay. The engine bay was in great shape. So I was able to basically pull the engine, transmission, and the whole subframe assembly, down from underneath the car, and that's how I got it. So everything on the front end is in actually pretty good shape, which is a blessing. What I've done is I've added a little Schrader valve extension. These are the ones that you get from you can get them from these big truck stops, and or you can buy them on Amazon. But they're really designed for dualies, for dual axle trucks. And what it allows you to do is just have an extension that you can thread in. So I've got this threaded into the air tank, and it will help me basically air up the car. So I just basically push this guy in, and the car will air itself up. Really, I mean, the car needs about 150 psi in order to let's see, in order to air up. So my compressor goes up to like 125 psi or something like that, but it's enough for it to get where it needs to go. Just make sure that this is hooked up properly. Yeah, this is good. So what's going on? So this is how you raise suspension on a 109 with air suspension. If you don't have it running and it's sitting on the floor, it's you can do it this way, and it'll save you a lot of aggro. Now, if you had a compressor that goes up to 150 psi, it's real good because it'll also air up the front. The front's needs a little bit more pressure. That big 60-gallon compressor doesn't have that, but I have a small, like 3 or 4 gallon compressor, a little pancake compressor that will get up to 150 psi. I use that, when I'm needing to air up the front. So I have one of those Schrader valves on all 3 of my 109s. They make life so much easier. But you can see how it's aired up. Alright, I'm going to go pull the tyres off and then pull the wheels off and then to run them up to the tyre shop, so bear with me and I'll get them off. Get my 17mm. Alright guys, so I got a set of brand new Kumho's 215 70 15s, 14s, 215 70 14s, There's a tyre shop just down the street from me. They charge $12 to mount and balance. So I'm going to take them over to the tyre shop and get them to mount and balance these tyres and head back. Didn't bring my truck with me, so today my truck would be the 67 Cadillac, because you can put probably about 10 tyres in there and 10 sets of wheels and you'll still have space in the trunk. So should be fun. Alright, watch the space. Thank you. Okay, so I think I'm done for the day. So suspension is raised right now. I had to put a little bit of air in it because the back airbags are kind of rotten and it sinks. The fronts are great. I'm going to try to take it for a quick test drive and then give it a wash because it's just covered in dirt. But this is going to be effectively the first time I've actually driven this car, period. So I'm just going to take it for a quick spin and see how it works out. Alright guys, so hopefully the car will start. But no, my luck, it may not. Alright, so it wasn't much of a drive, but it was the first time I drove it. As you can see, the front suspension, or the rear suspension, was raising up kind of really high. The problem is that it doesn't have a self-leveling adjustment rod there, and as a result, you know, if the height control valve is set at one point and the car raises and it doesn't know when to stop, it's just going to keep pumping up. This is why I had to cut the drive short, because I didn't want, you know, the airbags to explode effectively. But, you know, while it's here, I'm going to give it a quick wash and you know, clean it up a little bit because it's just filthy and, you know, on the outside, and then put it back in the shop. But, you know, first time I've driven this thing, I'm actually pretty excited about it. Brakes are super spongy. They definitely need more bleeding, but, you know, it's a result. So kind of excited about that. Alright guys, so it's a little bit cleaner than it was before. Still needs a lot more cleaning because it's just, the dirt's just so baked in. But I'm going to go back in, I'm going to drive it back onto the 4-post lift so that all 4 wheels are on the ramp. And then I'm going to order this week a height control valve rod so that I can get this thing properly set up. You really need a 4-post lift to do it because you've got to be underneath it, checking the adjustments and setting out that way. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and you know, please continue to watch. I'm going to pull this in and probably give the Bentley and the Cadillac a wash because I had to pull them out to get this car out. So, week, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.